Welcome to Burning the Edge. We would like to welcome to the tee our host, Mr. Arthur Miller Jr.
Thank you for listening to the Burning the Edge podcast. Today we have Miss Jana Hudson. She's an amateur players tour player out of Nashville. We recently played in a 2-day major in Dickson, Tennessee at Greystone, where she was the winner after the 2 days. She was the leader after the first day and continued her lead over into the second day and was able to pull it out by one stroke. Today, Miss Jana will tell us her story about how she got started playing when someone went to their truck, pulled out a driver and put some balls down, and she couldn't hit it that day, but 13 years later, she wins a 2-day major at Greystone against 20 players in her division. Bring to the tee Jana Hudson. Jana Hudson is an APT player from Nashville. How you doing, Miss Jana?
I am doing well, Arthur. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
So I wanted to bring you on because you whooped our tail up in Dickson at Greystone. So I want to bring you on and just to kind of get your perspective on the tour and stuff. Before we get, how did you get to the game of golf?
Well, it was probably around 2007, 2008. My cousin came to a 4th of July cookout with us, and he said, I've got something I think you will enjoy. He went to his truck and got out a driver and some tees and some balls, and he was showing me how to hit a ball. I couldn't hit the ball. But after that day, I was hooked on it. And I went the following week and bought me a set of golf clubs, and I started playing. Really? Never had picked it up through my teenage years or anything like that, but it's been a wild ride since then.
I hear you, a wild ride. Okay. So you said it was like 2008, so that would give you about 12, 13 years you've been playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I went. My husband bought me a golf lesson through a golf academy, and I went for a 3-day lesson back around 2012, and she introduced me to the EWGA that was near. It's all over the United States, but it was a women's league, and I played there. And got involved with that and started competing some with them. And then a friend of mine introduced me to Golf Week, actually, in 2015. I joined that, and I've been playing competitive since then. So about 8 years.
Okay. Was this your first tournament that you won at Greystone?
No, sir. On Golf Week, I won a few tournaments. I started out in D-Flight, of course, right. And I won some tournaments there and moved up to C-Flight, and I stayed in C-Flight for several years, and just recently moved back when I moved to APT, I moved back to the D-Flight because I had been playing terrible, and I didn't feel like I was competing. But I did win on the Golf Week tour. I finished third at Cider Ridge in Oxford on May the 22nd. And then I won the Robert Trent Jones on the river course there in Huntsville, Alabama, against a playoff with John Marshall on May the 15th. And then I won the 2-day major at Greystone, and that is the first 2-day I have ever won.
So what would you say has changed your game, or that you've been working on the most? You would say.
Well, the most that I've been working on is basically short game.
Okay.
Chipping, putting, and the main thing to me is just consistency in playing and or practicing.
Right.
you get those reps in, and it really shows come tournament time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've noticed that in my game when I was playing pretty much like every 2 days, either playing or practicing pretty much every 2 days. My game was a lot better than it is now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this last tournament I finished the worst I've ever finished. I've never finished dead last. And yeah, it was very it's very discouraging, but I understand, that golf is one of the things. Golf gives you what you put into it. So if you don't put enough time into it, it's not gonna give you anything,
And that's right. That's
right.
Exactly right. You have to spend the time with it, and it pays off if you do.
Right. So have you noticed the difference between the Golf Week and the Amateur Players Tour?
It seems more inviting, the APT. But I don't see a huge difference in it. But I haven't been playing that long either. So,
is there a Golf Week tour in Nashville?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've been playing on that one too, or just the Amateur Players Tour?
I play on the Amateur Players Tour out of Nashville, but I play on the Alabama Golf Week Tour.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I play on both tours.
Okay. So how have the guys received you? I know it's a male dominant sport. So, well, as far as the tour anyway. So how have they received you on the tour?
Well, so far, both tours have received me really well, and I play with another couple that actually got me started back in 2015. Mm-hmm. Mike and Shalene Penn.
Oh yeah, I know them.
Mm-hmm. And so I travel with them, and but they're all the guys are so respectful. I mean, right. Before COVID, they wanted to hold the flag for you. They wanted to put it back up. They didn't want you doing any of that. It was respect, really. And then COVID kind of messed all that up, and
right.
We leave the flag in, and then it's all good. But as far as your question about, I think I've been accepted really well, by everyone.
Usually, I think out of Nashville, y'all probably have the most. Well, Nashville and Alabama, because I think there's a couple of ladies in Alabama that play, and I know you mm-hmm. and Rachel out of Nashville.
Yes.
So does Shalene not play anymore?
She plays some. She don't play normally the 2 days.
Okay.
Now she may coming up, but the issue with her is she's a senior.
Oh.
And they can't move her up.
Right.
Because there's nowhere to move her as far as the tee boxes.
Right.
They're looking at that. I know they've been talking with Matt Minder about it, and mm-hmm. He said that he would look into it to see what options were. So that would be a huge step with the women, especially as we get older. Mm-hmm. We have something, to look forward to, that we can move up a tee.
Right. I never really thought about that though. I guess I just always assumed the women play the forward tee. I didn't think about the senior women. What would you do? Because the senior men play up forward, play one tee ahead of the non-senior men.
That's right. And it makes sense. If the men get to move up on the seniors, then the women should be,
Right. So how would you feel if they moved you back then?
Oh, I wouldn't like that now, Arthur.
I'm sure you. Yeah, I can understand why you wouldn't like that very much. So,
Well, and if I play well enough and I move back to Division 4, it is what it is. If I need to, if the yardage or the slope and the course rating allows, I may have to move back.
Right.
In some tee boxes.
Right. So one of the other guys, I'm not sure if you may know Vince, but he moved up to Division 4. Well, it was on the golf week, so it was sea flight. And so this year he would have been moving back or whatever because his scores kind of started falling off. So you said that the same thing happened to you. So what would you say was the main contributing factor that where your game kind of fell off, do you think?
Well, I kind of know where mine was. Mine actually fell off in 2019.
Okay.
I was working with a company for 30 years and I got laid off.
Okay.
I was just, it was just a bad time. It wasn't a terrible thing, something you can't work through, but I didn't play a lot of golf.
Oh, okay.
During that time, I was, scrambling to try to find, where's my next job going to be, and that type of thing. So I didn't get a lot of playing or practicing time.
Right. Well, yeah,
I think that was a big part.
Yeah, that's totally understandable right there. I thought it may have been, something else like, your driver started going crazy like mine has or something like that.
Well, now that happens now.
It does. I went to see my pro yesterday, but if it wasn't for that driver was about to go somewhere. I don't know where it was going, but it was going somewhere. It was going to have to get up out of here.
I understand.
Yeah. So what would you say is the strength of your game?
The strength of my game is probably my driver.
Yeah, really? You know what? I've noticed that about the ladies that I've played with. I played with Rachel before. I played with, I can't remember her name, but she played on the Memphis Golf Week tour. And it's strange that you say that, but both of them could drive the ball pretty well. And I mean, if I'm being honest, if something that the guys, they kind of talk about behind the women back, is how far y'all hit it. And, it's so much farther than, a lot of times, most holes, I would probably say it may be. Now, this last tournament, it was a little bit different, but most tournaments, I would probably say, how would you say? Well, probably about 30, 40 yards different, maybe 50 yards on some holes. Different between the boxes.
Well, I would think, it's probably the difference between the boxes because if you look at it like where I tee, if I tee from just say I tee from the forward tees, and the guys in my Division 5 teed one tee or back two tees, whatever they set it at.
Right.
Excuse me. Our drives were normally about the same.
Really? See, I didn't. This last tournament, I didn't get to play with any ladies, so I wasn't sure. I know the difference in the yardage may have been a little bit more, but that's interesting.
Well, and two, a lot of the times, I played with Andy and John Kelsey, and a lot of the times they outdrove me.
No.
Yeah.
I know that when I played with Rachel, she pretty much put it in the fairway every time. I don't remember seeing a drive of hers that wasn't in the fairway, so I don't. And I played with her at Tunica National. I wouldn't say that those are extremely wide fairways, but they're wide. Some of them. But she put it in the fairway pretty much. Matter of fact, like I said, the ladies that I played with, they pretty much put it in the fairway. You can count on that.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is keeping it straight, keeping it in the fairway.
Right. So you said you worked on your short game. Where would you say your handicap is now? Is it?
I'm right around a 19.
Right. So this is your first 2 day at Greystone. So what did you think? Did you sleep well Saturday night? That's the first. Let's see.
Okay, so I knew after Saturday, I had the lead. I was first. I shot an 87 on Saturday, and yes, I slept really well, but I was so nervous on Sunday.
Were you?
Yes, I was very, very nervous, and I'm normally not nervous. I normally put on my game face and my competition face and go at it. But I was so nervous, I couldn't even eat or anything. So
really,
but yeah, I was nervous.
So could you tell that you was nervous in your game, or did it calm down after a while, or?
Yeah, it calmed down after a few holes. I kind of get in the groove of things, and I made a couple of pars, and then I slipped, and I made a triple, and but then I kind of bounced back, and I thought, well, I've got this,
right.
I can do this,
right. So yeah, so so when you made what would you say probably what did you think when you made the turn? Did you look at the leaderboard, or were you just focused on your game?
Well, I never look at the leaderboard. I always just try to focus and play my game and not worry about where I'm at. And if I play my best and give it my all, I'm satisfied. But I always hope to come out on top. But no, I did not look at the leaderboard.
So so when you got up, did you get nervous as soon as you woke up, or when you got to the course?
Oh yes.
As soon as
I was nervous. And then when I got to the course, I was even more nervous.
Yeah, I've never had that experience, so I don't know. But so you said, so when you got there, you was even more nervous. So you never looked at the leaderboard. So have you looked at it to see where you finished? I mean, well, you finished first, but as far as how many strokes you won by and all that?
Oh yeah. Okay. I only won by one stroke, and
right.
and it ends up I was competing against the guy I was playing with, John Kelsey.
Right.
Well, I didn't know that.
Right. So
the only thing that gave it away was when we come up on the 18th tee box. He said, "I'm gonna have to eagle this to put some pressure on her." Well, he was talking to Rachel, and I overheard him.
Oh,
so I didn't. I was thinking, "Oh no, he's talking about me." So he gets up there and he sticks it pretty close for a birdie putt. And if he would have birdied that, we would have went into a playoff.
Right.
But see, I didn't know all this.
Right. So did you get up there in two? Because you was off to the left, right?
Yeah, I did not get up there in two. Okay. I was to the left in three.
Okay.
I was
I
to the
saw
left
you
of the green in three.
To the left in three. What did you end up scoring on the last hole?
I had a double bogey.
Double, yeah, that's what I thought, because I said either she's there in two or three on the left, and I think you tried to chip it, didn't you?
I did. Tried to chip it, and
it came short. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember standing there and I was seeing it. And were you really nervous after you heard him say, "I gotta eagle it"?
Yes, that made me even more nervous, because I normally, like I said, I don't watch the scores.
Right.
It made me really nervous.
Right.
But when he missed his birdie putt, I thought, I didn't really know what was going. I didn't really know the score, so I didn't really know what was happening until it was all over.
Right. So that's I so did you prefer sleeping on the lead, or would you prefer it would have been over the first day?
No, I like sleeping on the lead.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I like the pressure of it. I like the competitiveness of it.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to the women, I think I wish more women would like to be competitive like
Right.
that.
Right. I really think there are a lot of women that are competitive like that. They're just not totally comfortable with getting into it. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's the initial fear or the initial anxiety about it. But everybody has that, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this and talk to you and everybody else, because I want people to understand everybody has that anxiety before when you're getting to that course, your first tournament, after you didn't decide, okay, I'm gonna play, I'm gonna go, and you're going to your first tournament, like you don't know what to expect. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
natural to have some kind of anxiety or fear, if you want to call it that. And once you get there and you start meeting people and you start playing with these people, like you get comfortable. And all that anxiety is not there anymore, unless you're sleeping on the lead again, then you might have a
That's
little anxiety. But other than that, it's fun to meet all the people that you get to meet. And that's the best part about it to me, is the people. It's fun to play golf, don't get me wrong, and I love the game, but all the people that you get to meet adds to it.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And and it is about golf, but it's more about the people and the friendships that you make
Right.
along the way.
Right.
And I have met so many great people through the game, and
Yeah.
it's just great.
So now you're looking forward to Pinehurst, right? You didn't want
Well,
2 days. Now you got to go to Pinehurst. You have to go
I
to
know,
Pinehurst.
right?
Yeah.
It would be great if the incentive of winning a major would be your entry fee paid to Pinehurst.
You're right. It would be. But it'd be great if the entry fee was paid for if you win it 2 days.
Yeah, that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. I would be jealous of Tim. But I didn't have a chance in his last 2 day, but I had a chance in San Antonio, and I just couldn't make up enough ground. I got too far behind after the first day. But and that was the one that Tim Harbin won. I'm not sure you familiar. I know you probably played with Tim before, haven't you?
I played with him Saturday, actually.
Did you?
At Greystone. I did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I gotta talk to Tim, because he didn't play as well this weekend. I gotta see what's going on with him.
No, he struggled Saturday. But he played better on Sunday. But he did struggle Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the problem was, but maybe you can talk to him and find out what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta get him back on track. So what would you say to anyone that's hesitant about playing competitive golf, or even getting started at playing golf? What would you say to them to encourage them?
Well, I guess I would say basically, everybody has the fear of that. And even now on the first tee box, I get that fear every time. But it's something that you can do for a long time. You can play golf as long as you can, walk around and have that capability. And
right.
It's a really good thing to get into. It can be exercise if you wanted to walk. But the competitiveness of it, it's hard for some people to accept that, but to me, it's rewarding.
Absolutely. So I don't want to be rude, Jana, but how old are you? I know that's like a gentleman rule that I usually try to abide by. But I don't want I want women to know that it's no age limits. You know, it's never too late. I don't know how old you are, but I assume that a certain age or
And
whatever.
I totally agree with you. We shouldn't put an age on it, but I don't mind at all. I'm 52.
Okay.
And like I said, I picked up my first golf club around 2007, 2008.
That is awesome.
And
I wouldn't have thought you were 52 though, Jan. I wouldn't
I am. I have two. I'm married. I have 2 grown boys. I'm 34-year-old and a 26-year-old.
Okay. So does your husband play?
He will play in a scramble tournament about once a year with me.
That's it. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, you probably whoop up on him now. He don't want to learn how to play now, huh? He like, no.
Yeah, he gets discouraged every time he goes with me. But,
yeah, I'm sure he's like, no, Jana, you're not gonna beat up on me today, Jana.
But he doesn't have a lot of time. He works a full-time job, and he's a bivocational pastor of a church.
Oh, okay, okay.
So he don't have a whole lot of time to practice, and as well as I do, it takes a little bit of practice time.
It does. It definitely does. Well, I want to thank you, Miss Jana, for coming on and talking to us and sharing your story, a little bit about your story with us. And we're gonna wish you all the best of luck, and that you keep beat up on all them guys down there up in Nashville. You and Rachel can tag team. You can win one week, Rachel win one week. You can win one week, Rachel, and just whoop up on them.
That's right. That's right. We're gonna whoop up on them. That's for sure.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, I enjoyed it, Arthur, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you again for listening to the Burn the Edge podcast. I hope you enjoyed our conversation today with Miss Jana Hudson. Miss Jana Hudson, the Amateur Players Tour winner out of Nashville, Tennessee, and where we played at Dickson, Tennessee, at Greystone Golf Club up there. Special shout out to Greystone. We had a good time up there. The course was in pretty good shape. The weather was a little uncooperative the first day, but it was a little abnormally cool for this part of the country. But we ended up having a great day. On the second day, the sun came out and it was a beautiful day. Please like and follow the podcast and subscribe so you can be notified when new podcasts come available. Thank you again for listening.